I'm going to hand across to Rob Saunders from Innovate UK and UKRI. Rob, over to you.
Thank you, Phil, and good morning, everybody. It's fantastic to see so many of you on this call and the level of interest in the launch of Net Zero Go. I can see over 350 people on this call this morning. So really fantastic. Welcome, everybody. I want to give you a really brief overview of the context of how this platform came to be in the context of the programme that I run, Prospering from the Energy Revolution in UK research and innovation, and also to give you a really brief look at some very recent evidence that we've generated, which really makes it clear how important this toolkit can be in delivering net zero, not only locally, but on a national basis as well. Next slide, please, Claire. Thank you. So just briefly, Prospering from the Energy Revolution. We've been running since 2018, and this is a programme that aims to prove investable local energy business models. We've a fantastic portfolio of projects that range from big demonstrators, future designs of city regions and other areas right across the country, development of some technology components where needed, doing quite a lot of work in the data and digitalisation space, funding the Digitalisation Task Force report recently, and alongside that, a big research consortium based in Strathclyde, pooling all of the best knowledge on local energy systems and development of tools and capability, primarily led out of the Catapult. Next slide, please. This is just where we're involved. The dots are the projects that we run. The black dots are our demonstrators. You may well have heard of Project Leo, Local Energy Oxfordshire and Energy Superhub Oxford, and the Reflux project up in Orkney. And detailed design projects, the green dots, right across the country, and lots of other activity all over the place. I think when we got into these projects about 2 years ago, we realised how fundamental the role of local authorities were in coordinating these kinds of projects, in bringing all of the delivery bodies together in a way that could deliver the right outcomes for their citizens, for the people in those local areas. And it was at that point that we just thought, actually, there's really good capability in some areas, there's really patchy capability in others, and the knowledge sharing across the country of what's going on and the best way of doing things is not really there. And it was that point that we decided we'd refocus some of the Catapult activity to really go after a toolkit that could help bring the right tool sets to local authorities in their efforts to decarbonise their areas. That was the genesis of Net Zero Go, and it's been a fantastic journey over the last 2 years, and all credit to the Catapult team for the work that's gone into it. And we really hope it will be a great success in helping you all. A slight change of direction now to give you some different context about why we think this is so important. Next slide, Claire. As we've run this programme, one of the key questions that's kept coming up when we've been talking about local energy systems has been, economically, is it better to do things locally or is it better to do things nationally? And how do we deliver the maximum benefits to the UK in decarbonising our areas? So we commissioned a consortium, PwC and the University of Leeds, amongst others, to go and try and answer these questions. Next slide. And we launched this report a couple of weeks ago. It's really worth the read of the full thing. I'm just going to be able to give you some key highlights from it, but there's a lot of detail in this, in setting out the analysis that was done, and indeed the implications of that. So it's available at the link shown there. Next slide. So just really briefly, this was completely novel analysis. We don't think this has really been done before, certainly not to the latest Greenbrook standards. It's bottom-up modelling in 6 cities, taking data from a variety of sources, and essentially looking at what costs and benefits do you get from decarbonising transport and buildings, the 2 areas that are pretty much flatlined in our decarbonisation efforts at the moment for the UK. It then looks at what the direct financial benefits, the kind of GVA associated with it, and the societal benefits. And that's some of the really novel stuff. And alongside that economics research, they did a lot of strategic analysis about levels of readiness, the things that local authorities think they can do and don't have the ability to do at the moment, and pulled all of that together into a delivery framework for delivering local net zero as part of a national push for decarbonisation. Next slide. So they did all of that modelling in 2 scenarios. One in a place-specific sense, where we try and do everything the same in every place. And secondly, in a place-specific way, where we tailor the solutions for the needs and the opportunities of that specific place. And that was done across those 6 cities and then aggregated up into a kind of urban UK area. And these figures represent that urban UK area outside of London, because it was felt that London is unique in some ways. But the results are absolutely striking. You need to invest about 1/3 as much. So it costs you 1/3 as much to decarbonise to carbon budget 6, if you do it in a way that is done specifically for that place, that takes advantages of the resources in that place and the opportunities in that place. You create about double the direct energy savings if you do it in a place-specific way, and the social benefits are doubled as well. So these are benefits such as more productivity in the area, better health outcomes from lower pollution, so a wide range of those, which you can find more detail on in the report. But essentially what it concludes is that there's probably a 6-to-1 cost-benefit ratio from doing things in a place-specific way rather than trying to do the same thing everywhere. Now, what this doesn't say is that these are essentially 2 points on the end of a spectrum. So doing everything the same in every place and doing the ultimate tailored solutions at the other end are probably both not achievable. But you would see that the direction of doing more tailoring of your approach to that specific place will get you more benefit and cost you less, and that's the main message of this report. Next slide, please, Claire. But there are lots of barriers in place to actually being able to do that. Barriers to organisations and individuals to actually getting things done across a whole wide range of this whole system in delivering this thing. And secondly, there are systemic blockers in policy and coordination which stop the system from delivering these things. So the strategic analysis looked at all of these blockers and tried to put in place a framework that could deliver against all of those, so that we can join up national policy and local delivery in a much more seamless way that enables the best things to be done in the best places by the people with the right accountabilities for doing it. Next slide. So this is what that framework looks like that PwC have come up with. It rests on 4 pillars of governance, portfolio management, capacity, and funding and financing. System governance, absolutely critical. We have to get the right accountabilities in the right places, building on the foundation set out in the net zero strategy and the net zero local forum that's about to be created across government, to put those accountabilities with the people who can act on them in the right places. There is a sense that subsidiarity is going to help here, that we devolve the accountabilities down to the right level, that those are actionable. At the same time, we need a portfolio management system that enables national government to work with local delivery of projects in a way that is seamless, so that national government can understand what's going on everywhere, that there's a consistency of approach enough to satisfy that local projects will add up to more than just a complete patchwork of different approaches across the country, but instead will join up into a national decarbonisation scheme. So there's this sense that there is a missing middle that establishes trust between national government and local delivery, establishes consistent information flow in the other way, and resources to flow from national to local. Capacity and skills, clearly we need to do better here, building on local hub infrastructure probably, and building tools and capability that can be acted on locally. We do think that, in particular, skills need to be developed right across the supply chains as well as in local authorities. Funding and financing, of course, is critical here, and the key is to be able to help the UK Infrastructure Bank to find their role in delivering this, but in a way that is going to crowd in private finance. We think that local net zero projects can be of a scale that is absolutely right for infrastructure investors to get involved in a way that can't be done for fully national projects or indeed for individual household projects. So there's a sweet spot here for financing, which we need to enable so that we can join up public, private, small, medium, large finance to be able to deliver these projects in the real world. So we think that this toolkit is critical because it delivers against the capacity and skills part of this framework, but it also delivers critical elements of a portfolio management system where there are more trusted consistency of methods and delivery methods, so that there's better visibility of what's going on across the piece. And I think this could be a really strong way of helping to join up local and national through trusted methods and tools. And that's why we're really keen that this becomes a well-used and usable tool for local authorities in their journey to net zero. So that's all I wanted to say on it, but I commend the report to you to have a closer look at, and I wish you all the best in your experimentation with Net Zero Go over the coming months. Thank you.
Rob, that was fabulous. Thank you very much indeed.